welcome to Backers. I'm Sal.
And I'm Ben.
Today we're going to talk about Ultimate Spider-Man! Maybe Volumes 2 and 3. I doubt it. 3 is like a fool's errand.
Oh,
You don't want to talk about it? You're just going to skip it?
I don't think we're going to get time. That's the thing, is that we've talked about Ultimate Spider-Man before. We did Volume 1, which you can click the card above Ben there to see. We promised we'd do it every 10 episodes, but it was Judge Dredd's 40th birthday, so we did that episode instead. Plus, this character wasn't around, so we couldn't do it anyway.
Yeah.
Get ready for this hilarious, like, recurring joke throughout Ultimate Spider-Man, where whenever we start a new arc, or every few arcs or so, Ben just likes to throw out the shocker. And no, not what you're thinking. In fact, it's a Spider-Man villain from yesteryear who normally looks like a quilted, like, bee.
I'm fairly certain the Shocker is most people's
He's
villains.
yellow. But in this, he just looks like a guy named Herman.
What is his power?
His power is he built these, like, vibro gauntlets that, like, shake you. So it's not really a shock.
It's not shocking.
He should be called the Shaker.
Yeah.
Well,
Or the
he'd be the
vibrator.
mover of the Shaker.
I think someone makes a joke like, you should be the vibrator. Oh, nope, never mind. That's... No.
No, that's not
He's like, you know what? That's a great idea. I'm going to give up crime. I'm going to go into adult films.
Yeah.
Maybe because it's like a bigger version of the hand buzzer thing.
Oh, yeah.
Which just vibrate. They don't actually...
No, they don't shock you at
They don't
all.
actually
That's true.
electrocute
It's a good
you,
point. But he sucks, and like the book makes every effort to tell you, like, this guy sucks. Herman is a tool. Spider-Man usually beats him within a page or two.
Right. Well, he's just a dude, right? He doesn't have super fast reflexes or anything.
No, he just has these... Well, but he is like a brilliant inventor who created these things, and instead of like using them with any practical applications,
Right.
or becoming like a
Yeah.
off-camera orgasm inducer, he is instead like this petty criminal. But what's hilarious is he must have the best lawyer in the world because he always comes back, and he always has like souped-up better gear. And you know what? I
great
think, and I think you're going to see him in Spider-Man: Homecoming, and I think he's going to be that idea.
No, that's
like
cool.
that joke.
I would like to see that.
Spider-Man is getting his bearings as being Spider-Man, and while he's like kicking around at school, he hears that the Daily Bugle is offering money for pictures of Spider-Man.
Okay.
Didn't they do that already?
Yes, and they did, and Bendis is acutely aware of it, and so he's addressing it now. You know, Spider-Man's like, oh shit, that's a great idea. I'll take pictures of myself and then sell them to that flat-top idiot.
Yeah.
So he takes a bunch of pictures of himself using a digital SLR, and then he goes to the Daily Bugle offices, and he hands them over to J. Jonah Jameson. He's like, these are all terrible. Mm-hmm. And while Jameson is giving Parker a hard time, reporter or whatever, Betty Brant, is on her computer and she can't get the website to run because she is not a web designer, but because they are trying to double up jobs, she is now in charge because she's younger than them.
Right.
And she can't do it.
You know this
okay.
web stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's very real.
You have a
That's
whole
so
computer.
real. It's so great. And so Pete's like, hey, listen, actually, the problem is this. And he explains like this web code thing. And she's like, what? And he does a couple things, fixes it, and he's just... Move! So he fixes it, and that's all they care about. And they're just like, okay, you're hired. You're our web designer now.
Nice.
Yeah, the web designer.
Yeah.
But he does wind up purchasing one of the pictures. Because it is like a peach of a shot.
Right. Like, well, it's a picture of Spider-Man.
Right, and I
no one
don't
else
have
has
any of them,
others,
so
yeah.
I'm done.
This is an artist rendition of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's like his kid's drawing.
Yeah, that ain't gonna work. So he, it's great. He offers Peter a job, and Peter's like, well, I have to ask my aunt if it's okay. Because remember, he's like 15 years old.
Right, right.
So he calls his aunt, and we never hear what Aunt May says. But he says, Mr. Jameson, my aunt wants to talk to you. And so Jameson gets the phone, and he's like, yeah, yes, I under... Yeah, okay. And then he hangs up the phone and he goes, never do that to me again.
Your aunt has the dirtiest mouth I've ever heard.
It's just amazing. When he stopped the burglar in the first story, he took his driver's license.
Oh, so he knows who he is.
Yeah, so he takes his driver's license to the Daily Bugle's computers.
But what is that going to do?
Well, he types in the dude's name into the...
Use his junior detective skills and hunt
Yeah.
him down.
Yeah. Well, he already
He's
defeated
already
him.
been
He's already in
found,
jail.
Yeah.
But the question is, because the problem is...
Maybe there's a conspiracy.
Well, maybe. I mean, no.
That would be an incredible leap.
Yes. But he does notice that this dude who killed his uncle was also like a really, really low-level enforcer for the Kingpin.
Okay.
And so he sees like this whole web of information that's leading to like most of the crime in New York leading to this one dude. Okay. So he asks Robbie Robertson, who's the editor-in-chief and typically like the guy who actually runs the Daily Bugle, And he's like, Robbie, this guy, Wilson Fisk the Kingpin, why doesn't someone just go to his house and arrest him? And he's like, because you're an idiot. Like, because that's not how that works. The dude is a philanthropist. He's a public figure.
Yeah.
He has lawyers. He has money.
Yeah.
Rich
Not only-
evidence usually
Yeah.
to
Things can be
you
linked
just-
to him, but there's no
Exactly.
crime that he has done.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't just go to a bad guy's house and beat him up and then tell the cops to arrest him.
Right, that's what Batman does. That's why nothing sticks. That's why the Joker keeps coming out. Like, it's just that is not how that works. And so he says, like, well, whatever happened to, like, why doesn't the Daily Bugle write enough, like, write more stories about him and the crime? And he goes,
Expose him.
oh, we did, and then he bought stock in the company.
Oh.
That's what we do now. Like, that's how crime happens. And he's like, you just have to get used to it because that's how the world is.
Wow.
And Spider-Man's like, no, no, it's not.
I am
get
gonna
used
buy.
to it.
How much is stock?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. So he goes to Fisk's office and he meets a really old school team of Spider-Man bad guys called the Enforcers. The Enforcers are silly ass characters. They're like
works.
They're practically like a circus type team of bad guys. Like there's Fancy Dan and there's the Ox and they're just mob enforcers and they just have
Like Dick Tracy villains.
yes, but they have like
But
they
that's
have
great.
gimmicks. And so Bendis resurrects them, and they work for the Kingpin.
Okay.
And then the security shows up, and they're like, "So Spider-Man is here attacking these private security people.
Right.
You're the bad guy."
Yeah, you can't just do that.
And he's like, "Ah, crap!"
Oh.
So he leaves.
Is the story with like the stuff that's going on with him at school? Is that worth a damn?
No,
Okay, cool.
not in this one. In the
Got
next
it.
volume, yes, because in this one, all you're getting is that like Pete and Mary Jane, who are friends from childhood.
Yeah.
But aren't dating, and she doesn't know he's Spider-Man. So Spider-Man decides like to go to Fisk's office and try and like dig up some dirt by like going on his computer and finding like maybe some illicit files or something,
Okay.
or maybe just leaking his browser history or whatever. But so he's in there.
Oh
and-
my God, my porn got released.
Yeah,
everywhere.
exactly. So while he's in there, he notices that there's security cameras, and that's when the Kingpin like gets the drop on him. And reveals that he's
is
actually like,
massive.
a massive dude.
Like, you can't just fight me. I'm not just a guy.
No,
I'm like
also-
five guys.
I'm like inhuman.
Yes,
giant.
large and strong. And Spider-Man's like, "Ah, it's you!" And he like punches him. Doesn't work. They grapple a little bit, and that's when we meet another higher level enforcer for the Kingpin, aka Electro.
Okay.
And Electro is Electro from the comics, except in this one, he doesn't wear a dorky yellow costume. He looks like a burn victim.
Yeah.
Eventually, he will also be revamped in Ultimate Spider-Man to be like blue, like in that awful movie.
I was gonna say in the movie.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but the movie took cues from this more than the real, like, or the original.
And he
comics.
wasn't blue before.
No.
Okay, so they invented that later in.
Well, that's how you make electricity look cool.
Yeah. Spider-Man versus Kingpin Electro, no match for them. Electro knocks him out, and then Kingpin takes off Spider-Man's mask,
Oh.
and he's like, "So this is a child, okay? I
Oh
don't."
God, I beat up a kid. I'm gonna go to jail.
He's like, "I don't know who this is, and there's no way to look him up because he's just some
Right.
kid."
We don't have like photo databases or anything.
Yeah.
I guess
so they-
we'll take a picture of him.
So they literally they just throw him out the window,
Huh.
and he wakes up halfway down, sticks to the wall, and then eventually escapes.
Wow.
And he is humiliated
Right?
As he should be.
He got
Because-
his ass handed to him.
to buy like a businessman.
Yeah. Well, and a dude who shoots electricity. From
Well,
his
that
hands,
also
to
But
be
happens.
also,
fair.
this businessman is like five guys.
Yes.
Yeah, is the Kingpin like is
Like
he
superhuman?
genetically altered or some shit? Because he is like impossibly large.
Yes. No, he's not like a superhuman,
Okay.
but he's really strong.
And his hands are like the size of
Peter Parker.
Parker's torso.
Yes. I can't really account for that.
It's a stylistic choice.
Would you consider Andre the Giant a superhuman or a metahuman
No,
in
but
a
his
way?
hands aren't as big as.
The Kingpin's hands are in proportion to Peter
Yeah.
Parker. But
Yes.
that said, he is a large dude.
very large.
And he's always been that way.
Right.
Now, in the Daredevil show, they kind of argue that by saying that, like, his suit is actually like fucking body armor and
Right.
shit. You could argue that might be part of it. But he's also just really tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of density there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the fatter you are, the stronger and more impossibly difficult to defeat you are. That's a little known fact for you health nuts out there. Kingpin is so offended by this child dressing up as a superhero and breaking into his office and like nearly finding some kind of evidence against him that he calls together the team, you know, all of his enforcer guys, and he's like, he blames the whole thing on one dude who's also kind of a dick anyway, and then he puts Spider-Man's mask on him and then crushes his head.
Oh!
There's this interesting scene where Spider-Man's in class, and they're talking about the Nixon tapes.
Okay.
Right.
And the teacher is like, so they actually wind up using the tapes that Nixon recorded as evidence against him later on, but why would Nixon record himself at all times, even when it was, like, sensitive information that could, you know...
And why didn't he destroy them after he was under investigation?
Right. And... Spider-Man, like, thinks about the moment when he was caught on camera, and then he says, because he thinks he's untouchable. And they're like, very good, Mr. Parker. All right, you're paying attention.
Huh? What? Yes.
And he's like, yeah, and then he's like, wait a minute, like, maybe the way about catching the Kingpin isn't through direct contact, it's by figuring out how his security system works. And maybe something he did is caught on camera. And of course we know it was, because he just literally murdered a dude with a Spider-Man mask, but that's beside the point. So then Spider-Man uses supreme hacking skills of creating a fake Yahoo address to emailing different security firms to finding out like which security camera company Fisk uses, and then figuring out like how that security system works. And they're like, well, what happens is like every minute is burned onto a DVD, and that DVD is stored into a thing. So like he's like, okay, cool. Like I need to just find where the DVDs are being stored.
That's a lot of
DVDs. It is. It's, you know, it's like 2001 or 2. So like, or 0. It's like 2000, 2001. So like, there's no cloud.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what you
it is
do.
a lot of DVDs though. But you know what?
It used to be tapes. Now then it's DVDs.
Yeah. So Spider-Man breaks into the security office of Fisk's building.
Okay.
Right.
And then...
He's going to take all the DVDs?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's going to take, like, the last few days worth of DVDs.
Okay. On the assumption
that something happened in them. So, when he steals them...
If nothing else, they'll get a good shot of Spider-Man evading him.
Yeah, exactly. At least I'll get some cool shots of me.
Actually, it's very smart. It's incredibly smart to take that tape so that he can't...
That's the other thing, is that he's also trying to get the tapes of him getting his mask taken off.
Right.
Yeah.
So, then the enforcers show up and they fight him.
Is one of the enforcers Indiana Jones?
He's just a jerk.
Just got that hat.
He's just a jerk, wears a hat.
But he does have a whip and an Indiana Jones hat.
His speciality is he's the cowboy of the group. But yes, he looks just like Indiana Jones.
Okay.
I think that in the original comics, he was a cowboy with a whip. And then in this, Bendis is like, make him like Indiana Jones. You know, because of the whip and all.
Okay.
I think Spider-Man, like, triggers the fucking sprinkler system, which sorts out Electro. And then on his way out, because he's got his little backpack on, like, from school, and he stuffs all the information in.
Yeah.
It says P. Parker on the back.
It might as well. But no, he escapes, and he's like, hell yeah, I beat all the dudes who beat me up originally. I defeated the guy with superpowers, and I've got evidence that will probably defeat the Kingpin, if not protect my ass, because I'm an idiot. And then he's on his way out, he's walking literally to a door with the word exit over it. And as he's on his way out, the Kingpin is like, do you really expect me to let you leave here alive? And Spider-Man's like, it's you. Like, okay, you know what? I promised myself that there were a couple things that I was going to say to you the next time we met. And they were so important that I wrote them down. He takes out this little notepad. And then he goes, you are so fat that when you cut yourself shaving, marshmallow fluff comes out.
He just starts insulting him.
And then Kingpin's like, and he goes, well, too highbrow for you? Okay. You are so fat that when you get on a scale, it says 1 at a time. And it just completely freaks out Kingpin to the point where he just rages. And then they get into a cool fight.
Okay.
And Spider-Man knocks him off guard using humor, which is his like greatest weapon, more or less.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he deflects Kingpin and then webs him to the wall. Like webs his big hands that are bigger than his freaking body. And he's like, I've beaten you. And and Kingpin's like, do you really expect like me being humiliated by you in a room that no one can fucking report what happened from, like really defeat me? And he's like, oh no, any idiot can like make you look like an asshole, but like I have proof that you're a monster. And then he leaves. And then he goes onto his computer and he sifts through all the DVDs that he stole. And he destroys the disc that has his face on it.
All right,
and then he finds the disc where Kingpin openly murders a dude.
Yeah.
And then he gives the disc to Ben Urich, the Daily Bugle's greatest reporter.
Okay.
Who was also the dude who wrote most of the articles against Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I was
Okay.
gonna say, why would he give it to anyone at his paper, knowing his paper is owned by the Kingpin? Like, would it be safer to give it to another
Yes,
paper?
but Ben
It's
Urich...
the biggest paper, too.
Yeah, but Ben Urich is also, like, invested in
Right.
taking down the Kingpin.
It's like he'll get it published anyway.
Yes, and in fact, like, Urich goes to Jameson, he's like, we have to do this. And Jameson's like, you're my best reporter, and, like, you have integrity, and that's what we're going to do.
All right.
And it's, like, evidence that, like, J. Jonah Jameson's not a schmuck.
Right.
It's
right.
like, that's cool.
That's
And-
much better than being like, no.
Yeah, no, we can't, we're owned by this guy. So, while that's happening, while that all happened, Pete had to break 2 dates with Mary Jane. Or
Oh,
2
wow.
potential dates.
Right, right.
He is in the doghouse.
Yeah.
So then, after it's all done, he calls Mary Jane and he's like, listen, you need to come over. I have something to tell you.
Okay.
She's like, okay. So then we cut to, like, an island far away from U.S. jurisdiction where Kingpin is laying low. And
So we just cut right to the chase. Like,
Yeah, Kingpin was-
outed, and he gets the fuck out of there.
yes. Yeah,
Okay.
like, the news drops and he is gone.
That's pretty cool.
It's not gonna be this long, drawn out conflict.
No.
Nope, he's gone.
Nope, he's defeated.
Right. I'm sure he comes back though.
He is the main antagonist of the series.
Okay.
It's incredible, the
Wait,
journey.
the Kingpin is the main antagonist?
Yes.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't think that Ben has planned on Kingpin being the big bad guy for this series, and I don't know if people would even agree with me that Kingpin's the main bad guy. He is the main bad guy of the series. Like, every Kingpin story, it always comes back to Kingpin. Not like that he's involved in every way, but it's more like every time that Spider-Man thinks he's got a break, the Kingpin finally comes back, and he is pissed. Because he's like, I know you're a child,
Right.
and you beat me. And he takes a personal offense to that.
Well, yeah, he
And
should.
it's great. It's to the point where, like, Daredevil's in this universe, and, like, he has a real problem with the Kingpin. He is killed off panel, and it doesn't even matter. Like, it's... Yeah, Daredevil dies in this universe. He dies in Ultimatum, actually.
Yeah.
And it's like, whatever. No, Kingpin is Spider-Man's villain. It's why I want Vincent D'Onofrio to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a Spider-Man movie. Because if you do this, it will be awesome.
Especially since it'll link the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I really want that. So then the end of the story is Pete and Mary Jane talk, and like you would at 15,
Right.
you would tell your girlfriend you're Spider-Man. to
Yeah.
impress her. And he does.
Yay.
And she says...
Oh, and she says that's awesome.
And she says...
Oh no, she loves it, and so she's like, "Oh, that explains everything." Like when we were at the field trip, and you got bit by the spider. Oh my god! Like and that's why you keep breaking dates because you're a superhero. I'm dating a superhero, and Spider-Man's like, "Oh, we're dating," and she's like, "Oh yeah, we are.
We're dating now!
Yeah." And what's funny is Mary Jane kind of jumps up and down on the bed like in excitement, which
Yeah.
alerts Aunt May to the fact that there's a girl in Peter's room.
Because Peter would never jump on his bed.
Well, it's more like there's bed sounds going on. So Aunt May's like, boom! No! What's funny is there's also a moment where Mary Jane thinks back to it when the spider lands on her boobs. She's like, I could have been Spider-Man. And he's like, yeah, well, you're not.
You could have been Spider-Girl. Or Spider-Woman.
Exactly. She says, oh, I'm surprised that you, I'm sorry, I thought you were inviting me over here so you could kiss me.
Oh.
And he's like, what? And she's
Yes.
like, oh, I can't believe I said that, blah. And he's like, well, I mean, you're already here. So they're about to kiss, and then Aunt May comes in, and she's like, okay, everyone get out. Mary Jane, your mom called. She's like, she doesn't know I'm here. She's like, yeah, I called her to let her know that you were here and that you need to go.
Well, they live next door to each other. Jesus, Aunt May.
Well, she lives up the road. They live on the same block.
Oh.
Yeah. It's in the movie, they're next door to each other. But yeah, so then she actually gets the phone. She's like, your mom called. She picks up the phone. She's like, Mom. She's like, oh, apparently I have to go. I have work. I have chores to do at 8 o'clock at night. So then,
Awesome.
yeah, and then, but it's cute because there's this at the end of it, Aunt May's like, I like Mary Jane. I like the fact that you guys are together.
But I don't like her in my house.
Well, but I don't but I know what teenagers are going to do here, and I need to do my job and keep it from happening, or at least this is an all ages title, so I gotta,
Right.
but whatever.
I gotta send her home.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know parents
you have
who
to
would
hang out
do
on
that.
the couch in the living room where I could see you.
It's already-
She has to go.
She has to go. Yeah. Well, it's sending a clear message about what's okay. No
Right.
hanky panky in the Parker
Right.
house.
Look, if she wants to come down and we can all watch TV together,
Yes.
fine.
But
That is it.
none
But
of
I
that-
will be in the middle of the couch and he will be on either side
That's
of
right.
me.
But she makes this cute point where she says, your parents met in high school. And he's like, "Oh." And then he's like, "Wow, like this is great. I have my first true victory, and I got a girlfriend now. Like hell yeah, this is the right decision."
So how does this book end on like a cliffhanger?
It doesn't.
It doesn't. It's
He
just happy.
lies back on the bed and is like, "Woohoo!"
Oh, that is good.
Yeah.
Whew.
All right.
Getting into volume 3, which is Double Trouble. Such a terrible title.
That
but
is a crappy title.
whatever.
Well, it's because he's got 2 sets of mechanical arms.
No, it's actually because there's 2 villains, but there were
That
like
makes a
4
lot more
villains in the
sense.
first one. But whatever.
Yeah.
So remember the
Okay, no, Shocker doesn't count as a villain.
No, he does not. No, I was thinking about Electro.
Yeah.
But so remember how at Oscorp, when Norman Osborn became the Green Goblin Hulk monster,
Yeah,
there was that big
yeah.
explosion.
And Doc Ock, they carted him out.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens with that. So Doc Ock wakes up and the arms are fused to his body,
Yeah.
and his eyes have been damaged by the explosion, I guess, or whatever. And he's in a secret government facility in New Jersey.
Uh-huh.
And they've found that, like, okay, I don't know how this happened, but, like, the arms that you were using are, like, welded to your nervous system, and they work.
It's not even medically possible. And not
Yes,
really
and
sure-
yet it's happening.
And yet here it is.
Yes.
Guess we'll just have to deal with it.
Well, I guess we'll just have to kill him.
Yeah, they don't. No, they want to use him. That's why he's in a government facility.
That's the
so-
top secret facility.
Yeah,
Okay.
and by the way, he's been in like a coma for the last like 3 months while Spider-Man is being Spider-Man.
okay.
So when he wakes up, he's like he hears the like orderlies talking about Doc Ock,
Dr. Octopus.
and he's like, "Why'd you call me that? Like, what's happening?" And then they finally go in
Why
there.
did you say that name?
We looked at your browser history. You're really into hentai.
Okay, so the thing about Ultimate Spider-Man is there's 2 stories. There's a Spider-Man story and a Peter Parker story.
Right.
And usually there's not much of crossover. Or if there is, it's only because Spider-Man needs to pretend that he's like busy.
Okay.
But in the Peter Parker story, first of all, Kong figures out the Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Okay.
He's sitting in his room one day, he's just lying back, and he's thinking about how Peter Parker was at the field trip, got bit by the spider, and then all of a sudden he joined the basketball team, and he was
And he
freaking
was amazing.
great. And then out of nowhere, he stopped playing basketball, and Spider-Man activity like skyrocketed.
Okay.
And so he's like, holy shit, Peter Parker Spider-Man. So then he goes to Flash and the gang, and he's like, so Peter Parker Spider-Man, I figured it out. And they're like, you're our fat, dumb friend.
There's no way you figured it out. You're an idiot.
That's
Also,
right.
look at that dweeb.
Yeah. And so Kong's like, no, check it out. I will go and kick Peter Parker, and I will show you
What?
that he will jump out of the way. So he like runs at him, and he's about to kick him, and Peter Parker's spider sense goes off, and he's like, here we go. I gotta play one up here. Like the Academy Award goes to Peter Parker, and so he gets kicked, and he takes it in the butt, like it's just a big boot to the ass, and he's like, and then when he rolls over, Kong's like, oh damn it, and then Peter just starts crying, and he's like, why would you kick me? Why? And he's like, oh shit, and then this guy,
You guys used to do that all the time. That was a game.
Yeah, except like, fuck you. That's not a game. That's called torture. But then this gothed out blonde
No, it was a
chick-
game for Kong.
I
and
know,
Flash.
you're right, yeah. But then this gothed out blonde chick shows up, and she whips out this knife, and she's like, if you do that again, I'm gonna fucking gut you.
Whoa.
And then she gets sent home, and we never see her again.
No, well, that's the thing. Is
In
that
the real world, yeah.
In this, we're real life. It's
She goes
funny.
to juvie.
It's funny how like this is kind of well. And here's the thing: you will be the judge as to whether or not this is like real life. He pulls out this knife. Because Kong is like this upper middle class white kid. He folds like a fucking folding chair, and and then these people, like all the kids, like surround it, and she drops the knife, and this teacher's like, "That's the end of you."
Oh, shit.
And
To Kong?
No,
To her.
to Gwen Stacy.
I was gonna guess it was Gwen Stacy.
Gwen Stacy's debut is that she is like this rough and tumble kind of gothed out chick.
And then she gets kicked out of school.
She gets expelled. But her dad is Captain George Stacy of the NYPD, and he pulls a few strings. And as long as she publicly apologizes, they'll forgive it.
I see.
So it's like, yeah, you know what? I think that a captain's daughter would get like suspended instead of expelled.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah, you don't want to expel the captain's daughter.
no. But
Unless you want to get a lot of parking tickets.
Yeah. Now the fact that exactly. So it's a cool like debut for Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, whoa, like that's a very big departure from the character.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, because she's rebelling against her dad.
Totally.
Yeah. And in fact, Stacy gets a call Captain Stacy, that his daughter's been expelled from school while he's investigating this random murder of this girl at her house, or this lady at her house. She was renting this place, and Dr. Octopus murders her.
Oh.
And
For no reason?
Well, seemingly no reason. But what happens is, so Doc Ock kills the orderlies at the hospital that he's being held in. He goes back to the house.
In the movies, it's like a horror movie.
Yes, and it's just like
it.
Yeah, only 2 years before the movie came out.
Ah.
So Doc Ock goes back to the house that he was renting, but when he was like declared dead or whatever,
right? Someone else moved in.
Yeah, and he didn't know who she was, and because he's kind of like fucked up, he just murders her outright.
See.
Yeah.
Is it like he didn't mean to, like the arms? Did
No.
it? Okay.
No, he's an asshole.
Okay.
Yeah, the arms don't have a separate
Like they don't have their own minds.
Right.
They're not like four different. It's not like that stupid behind the scenes of every movie. Where it's like, oh no, they all have 4 unique characters, and they all have preferential ways of doing. No.
Yeah, this one's grumpy. This one's sleepy.
Yeah, like no.
Does he see through the arms? They have like cameras in them.
No.
He just
How does
sees
he know
poorly.
where
Well, because
everything is?
he just has shitty vision now.
Oh, okay.
It's really hazy.
They're just it's actually they're really sensitive to light, so he has to wear sunglasses. It's how they explain why he's like wearing goggles and sunglasses and stuff. But so Ben Urich is investigating this random murder because it's a cool story and
Sure.
Captain
Hey, and he
Stacy-
got the kingpin out of New York.
That's right. So now he's working on like
You
whatever.
do whatever you
Big
want.
cases.
Yeah, well, smaller cases. This is a random chick who got murdered. So then Peter Parker's swinging around the city of Spider-Man, and he's like, he catches this purse snatcher who is bald, and he's like, oh, yes, a bald person. I've needed to punch a bald person right now because I had to take it from this fat bald douchebag at school. And when
How does he know? Like, I'm sorry, never mind. Screw it.
So Spider-Man kicks this guy's ass and returns the purse, but when he does, the audience, like who is around, is afraid of him because the Bugle has been smearing him throughout his career, and then he realized that he's actually in front of the Daily Bugle, and J. Jonah Jameson is there, and he's like, "Hey, wait a minute, aren't you J. Jonah Jameson, the guy's been writing terrible articles about me for the last 3 months?" And Jameson's like horrified because the idea is like, okay, so there's this superhuman
Yeah.
in a mask with evil eyes
Right.
flying around the city beating up people he deems bad, and now he's face to face with you, and you've been talking about what a menace he is for the last 3 months. So Jameson is pants-dumpingly horrified.
Oh.
Yeah. And then he says, I love the paper, it's hysterical. And then he like tumbles out of the way and like leaves. And Jameson's like, I thought he was gonna hit me. And Robbie's like, maybe he's not a monster, like you say. And he's like, maybe.
No, this proves he is.
Yeah, no. He's just like, maybe not. And then he takes a step and he realizes his feet are webbed to the floor and he just falls on his face. So
Yay!
he redoubles his efforts in being a dick.
Peter, you were so close.
Probably a mistake on
Yeah.
Peter's part, but really funny.
Yeah. So,
No, he just spit in his coffee every morning.
yeah. So Urich discovers that like the house used to be rented by Dr. Otto Octavius, and he worked for Oscorp, and there's been conflicting reports about what happened to him, so he's investigating that too. Otto Octavius breaks into the office of Justin Hammer, who is not Sam Rockwell, unfortunately, but is instead an old codger like he is in the real universe. But Justin Hammer's office is there and whatever. Okay, so the reveal is Dr. Octopus was working for Norman Osborn, but he was actually working for Justin Hammer, and he was a mole who was funneling genetic and like technological secrets to Hammer Industries.
Okay.
But because of the accident, Octavius does not really remember why he was associated with Justin Hammer.
Okay.
And
He
so
just
all
knows
he
something
does,
was there.
Yeah, and he knows that like there was something fucked up about it, so he blames Hammer for becoming Dr. Octopus.
Okay.
Because the other thing is that like he says like, I've been in a coma for 3 months and you left this shit in me.
Yeah. I feel
And
like
it's
you should
because
help me.
yeah, and it's because Hammer is also in the business of creating genetic freaks, and Hammer like signed off on like, don't take the arms off, like let's see where this goes.
No, wait. Leave them.
Yeah. So
We're
Octavius.
just gonna remove these arms here, no
Yeah.
problem.
Oh, no, whoa.
Very simple procedure.
Yeah. But what if you didn't though?
Oh, interesting theory. Let's see where that goes.
Well, it would be highly unethical.
Well, what if you didn't? Well, then we actually have to see where we go. So we have to keep him in a medically induced coma. But so
We'll also probably want to strain these at some point. Oh, we're not going to strain them? Never mind.
so Octavius blames Hammer for his disfigurement,
Right.
or so he believes.
Yeah.
And like he's kind of right, but really, like the explosion was not Hammer's fault. And
Right.
everything is completely fucked up.
Were the arms Hammer Tech? Because that'd be great.
I don't know. I think they're Oscorp, but like yeah, I think they're Oscorp. I don't know. I think he invented them, so it doesn't matter. They don't really. It doesn't matter where the arms come from, unfortunately. But they also established that Kraven the Hunter is like a reality TV star who's in the same vein as like the
Crocodile Hunter?
Crocodile Hunter. Where he's like
That's who that is?
Yeah, he's like an Australian douche who hunts the world's most dangerous prey.
Right.
Why is
And-
the Hulk on one of those screens?
Because
Everything's going on all
yeah,
the different
it's
channels.
just different
Oh,
TVs.
thank God, it's not Kraven hunting the Hulk.
No. He's only on one channel.
Yeah. So Kraven the Hunter is in this book in as much as Kraven the Hunter is this silly ass reality TV star who is making a bold announcement. He's coming to the United States to make a big announcement for his next season or whatever.
Okay.
And so the big announcement is, I'm coming to America to hunt Spider-Man. And
Why not the lizard?
because
That
the
makes
lizard
a lot
hasn't
of
been
sense.
invented yet.
No, it says something about the lizard on the screen.
Oh, yeah, well,
Search
they're-
up the lizard.
Yeah, well, they haven't established it yet.
No.
So,
How about the Goblin?
yeah, that would be cool.
The goblin's not a real animal, though.
Technically, he died.
Uh,
The fact is, Craven's not really big on this idea either, but his producer's like, Craven, this is going to get us a guaranteed 2 to 3 year run, and that will reach us to 100 episodes, which will get us in syndication, and then we don't have to worry about it anymore.
All you have to do is, when you
Alright.
find Spider-Man, ask him who his publicist is,
Yeah.
and then we'll call them and we'll figure out what to do.
No, he...
is his plan to kill Spider-Man?
That's what he says.
But he's a man.
Right, but he's a guy. But he's also a vigilante, and nobody really likes him anyway. Except you can't murder a person on live TV.
Right.
But I can murder an animal.
But here's the thing. What we've proven in our society is you can go on television and say anything, and you have no culpability.
That's true.
So
That's true.
if you say that like, you're going to murder a dude whose identity is not publicly known,
Right.
then you're fine.
Yeah, people just be like, that's not what he doesn't mean he's going to murder him.
It means he's going to like
you
destroy him publicly. Like
Right.
he's going to ruin his reputation.
Right. I'm sure
He's not
that's
really
what
going to
he
kill him.
No.
And that's when he,
Otherwise, wrestlers will get arrested all the time.
and then when he does kill him, people will be like, "What? I didn't expect him to do that."
Yeah, what?
So
Can't believe it.
So Kraven is doing that, and actually the Kraven the Hunter production team like picks Peter Parker's school to be a filming location because
course,
the Goblin
coincidentally.
attacked and Spider-Man was there. So Kraven uses his keen detection skills to try and sniff out
This
who's
is the epicenter of Spider-Man
activity.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
can tell.
he does do that, and
right.
he actually he sniffs the hole where Spider-Man jumped through, and then he looks around at the kids, and Gwen's like, "Does this guy smell like kitty litter, or is it just me?" And Kraven gives her a look, and she's like, "Hello, you're a stupid TV star. You can't do anything to me."
My dad's the police
Captain.
commissioner.
So Justin Hammer is doing some big stupid renewable energy crap in New York City. He's doing a big show about it, and they have this big dome where they're keeping this new renewable energy source or blah blah blah. Anyway,
Oh God, it's not a.
it's
small
not that.
Sun.
It's not like in the movie.
Oh,
No,
thank
Doc Ock just breaks into it and kills everyone inside, and then goes on the
Oh.
cameras, and he's like, because the big presentation is on the pier, and there's a big screen behind him, and they're showing the doctors working inside on all this shit, and then Doc Ock's slaughtering them, and then he pulls the camera to his face "I'm coming for you, Justin Hammer," and he's like, "Who? Why? What is
Who are
happening?
you?"
You worked for me. What's happening, man?" Spider-Man shows up, and he's like, "I'm here to help," and the police attack him
Oh,
and
God.
shoot at him.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
so then, as they're shooting at him, he falls through the dome, lands on his ass in front of Doc Ock, and he's like, "Ta-da!" Then he fights Doc Ock. Doc Ock beats the shit out of him, just like he does in his first appearance in the '60s. When Spider-Man first fought Doc Ock in the original comics, Doc Ock grabs him by all 4 appendages, using his other 4 appendages,
Right.
and then slaps him around, takes his mask off, and throws him in front of all of his friends and family.
What? How do they undo that?
They undo that by saying that Peter Parker dressed as Spider-Man to distract Doc Ock from hurting them. They did because he was so easily defeated. It must have been Peter
Right.
Parker.
Spider-Man would
And
have...
Spider-Man's like, "I'm just an idiot, and I underestimated my foe."
Right.
So they kind of pay homage to that by having him catch him. But then barely escapes with his life, and then jumps into the water and swims away.
And he doesn't get his mask taken.
He does not get his mask taken.
Okay.
We just did that with Kingpin. We can't do it again.
Yeah.
So he fights Doc Ock, he loses, and he escapes, and the cops are after him.
Okay.
And he's like, my life sucks. And Justin Hammer, of course, on TV, he's like, I don't know what Spider-Man was doing there, but I'm sure what it was not kosher.
Sure, it was helping Doc
Ock.
Ock kill all those people.
And he's like, I was trying to help you, you jerk!
What
And
happened to Doc Ock? Where'd he go?
Oh, he escapes.
Oh.
Because
Yeah,
the cops
we
are
can't catch
also
him.
focused on catching Spider-Man, that they're completely distracted from...
But what was he trying to do? Wasn't he trying to get Justin Hammer?
Yeah, he wanted to,
He just stops?
humiliate him first.
Oh, it's like, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
All I have to do is play around
Well,
with
no,
All
it
I want to
for
do
a
is
while.
kill some of your guys and then leave.
Yeah, well, he's like playing with his prey. you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Like a cat.
It's like a hit and run attack.
Yeah.
It's like a raid.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ruin your company by messing up this press conference.
That's true.
And then I'm going to leave before the cops shoot me.
And then
Yeah.
later I'll get you.
Yeah, I'll get you.
But I'm gonna let you squirm for a while.
That's right, exactly.
Right. And I guess Doc Ock would be fairly easily like killed by like
A
50
gun.
SWAT guys
Yes.
all shooting at him. Like,
Yeah.
him.
Now I should say his
Unless
arms.
he spins really fast and the arms go.
His
Ding,
arms.
ding, 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 ding.
His arms do have like special modifications where like they can shoot lasers and they can become like whatever. They have special abilities.
Can one of them open up into like a radar dish and then find the Nebuchadnezzar
Oh, yeah.
underneath all of the old world
It
tunnels?
ought to, but unfortunately no. How do they fly?
How does anything in that universe work?
It doesn't.
Oh, right, that's it.
You know they're trying to get them to make Matrix 4. Could you freaking believe that? Who's asking for that at this point?
What?
I know
What would
who
it be
might
about? They ended it. It's
It's over. Don't do it.
No, but he's Jesus.
Here, man.
He
The
has
truth
to
doesn't
come
work.
back
Yeah.
from the dead.
Yeah, but then like he has to be somebody else, like he did the last
It is
time.
going to be somebody else. It's going to be stupid.
Yeah.
That sucks.
So
Oh.
anyway,
So he gets the crap beat out of him. He goes and MJ
he gets the crap
takes
kicked
care
out of him. MJ takes care of him, and of course he's in the basement with Mary Jane, and it's late nighttime, and
Yeah.
like Aunt May's like, "Peter, are you downstairs?" He's like, "Oh crap, Mary Jane, you escape through here, and I'll use my spider powers and go upstairs." He like sneaks upstairs.
I'll
and
web Aunt May in the face so she can't see you.
Yeah, he climbs into the bathroom, and then he like thumps onto the ground, and Aunt May's like, "Are you in the bathroom upstairs?" And he's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, like, what are you doing in there?" And he's like, "Oh, I have bad poops." And she's like, "Say no more." And he's
Simple but effective.
and he's like, world famous superhero Spider-Man,
No one wants that.
lying about having diarrhea. So, anyway, so Spider-Man breaks into Justin Hammer's office, and he's like, "I was trying to help you, you jerk." And Justin Hammer's like, "Okay, well, how much do you want to take care of this Dr. Octopus problem?" And he's like, "You mean you're going to pay me to do the thing I was going to do for free, even though just like 10 seconds ago you were talking about what a jackass I was in the news?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
yeah.
And he's like, "Fuck you," and he leaves.
What?
No!
Take his
Peter,
money.
No, you can't take the money if you're gonna. If you no, that's not what being a
Spider-Man,
superhero
hero
is.
for hire.
Yeah, that's not a superhero.
I mean,
No,
People are
that
gonna
is a
give you money
superhero,
anyway.
especially if you were going to do it anyway. Get paid for it.
Yes. So well,
It's not like poor people. Like it's all I have. Like this guy has tons of money. Let's
I
take his
know.
money.
That's a running thing for Spider-Man. Like when he works for Silver Sable, she always offers to pay him because she's literally like the ruler of a country, and she has all this money, and she has like she runs a mercenary business. Like,
Yeah.
someone's gonna get paid for doing this job,
Right.
And he's like, "Yeah, but like it's coinciding with me being a superhero, and like, I'm gonna stop that guy regardless." And it's like, "Yeah, but you're gonna stop him regardless. Take the money." But
Yeah.
no.
Look, if
it's-
I don't give you this money, I have more money to give to other mercenaries.
yes,
Is that
but
what you want?
It cheapens what he's doing. It devalues what he's doing.
Oh,
So-
I'm pretty sure Aunt May could use some upgrades to the house, Peter.
Yeah, it's pretty selfish.
Yeah, well, so he
Maybe
leaves
buy
for
yourself some
stupid
weed cake
honor.
supplies.
I know. Well, whatever. It makes him a greater hero as a result.
Yeah, I
So, Spider-Man leaves the office, and then Hammer gets a call from like a special location by Dr. Octopus, and he's like, "Come meet me at this place, and we'll have it out." Because
Okay.
Hammer's like, "You worked for me, dude. Like we're like colleagues. I don't know why you want to kill me so bad, you jackass."
We're bros, man.
Yeah, what the
We're
hell?
science bros.
Yeah. So, Justin Hammer goes to the conference or to this place where Doc Ock like tells him to go in his limousine, and everyone's like beeping at him, and he's like, "Why is everyone beeping at my limo?" And it's like because Spider-Man's riding on top of the limo because he heard the whole conference. And then Kraven the Hunter gets the call like Spider-Man's going to this place. And
He's
so,
on a limo.
yeah, over at Hammer Industries in New Jersey. So, Kraven's going to this place.
Everyone's converging.
Yes, and in fact, Doc Ock called like a press conference. He called the news and told them like, I'm gonna go on TV and explain everything. So then,
why wouldn't the cops just show up and arrest him?
They should, but they didn't. So
also, why did anyone show up to that press conference? This man murdered a lot of people.
Because it's a great scoop.
It's the scoop of the century.
It's not worth your life, people.
So they do, and so all these cops are there. I'm sorry, So then all these news people show up, and then Doc Ock is like, so there he is. This is Justin Hammer. He created me. He's a bad dude. He's a bad hombre. So then Doc Ock uses his powers to break into the limousine and attack Justin Hammer and his young assistant.
Okay.
And while he's doing that, then Spider-Man shows up and then like gives battle
with
him. And so
throws down fisticuffs.
Precisely.
Yeah.
The limousine is trashed.
Right.
This poor old man is in there like, "Ah." And so Spider-Man fights Doc Ock, and they're really evenly matched because like he's got all these limbs, and Spider-Man's really agile, and
when Mary Jane's watching on TV,
of course, because she's his
now she knows.
So, but Doc Ock is all about theatricality for some reason. He's like playing for the cameras, and he's like telling everybody
playing
like
the role of the supervillain.
Yeah, but he's also like, I'm the victim. Like once you find out all the details of my terrible story, like you will
explain it to me since I don't really know.
So he's treating this like a soap opera.
Yeah. And then Spider-Man pantses him.
Yeah.
What?
I see that.
He webs his pants and then pulls them down.
Because he deduces that, well, this guy is so obsessed with the spotlight, and this will be the ultimate humiliation.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's great, because like he's so busy pulling his pants back up that he doesn't see that Spider-Man's coming right at him, punches him in the face, and then just rips his arms out of his sides.
Oh, shit! No, his mechanical arms.
They are, yeah.
I know, but like those are like fused to his body.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, but they don't hurt.
He would be hemorrhaging immediately,
He should
right?
be, but he doesn't. He's just like, no! He rips them out, and he just like sits down, because it's the most exhausting battle he's ever had, and the cameras are all on him.
Wow.
And then Kraven the Hunter shows up.
Oh, God.
And he's like, oh my God. So then Kraven's like, we will do battle! And Spider-Man's like, could you... Actually, hang on a minute. And so he jumps over to the limousine, and the assistant's in there, and he's like, is everybody okay? She's like, Justin Hammer had a heart attack. He is dead.
Oh, shit.
And he's like, oh, shit. So then Kraven goes up to him. He's like, okay, Kraven, I'm going to rip off the door. You're going to grab the girl, and I'm going to pull the guy. And Kraven's like, we must do battle! And Spider-Man's like, are you for real? Get out of my way. I'm trying to help these people. And so Kraven attacks him, and Spider-Man keeps dodging him because Kraven's a guy.
Right.
Yeah.
He's just some
And he's
dude.
like, stop. Get away. He's like, stop. And he hits him and just knocks him the fuck out. And he just falls to the ground, and he's out. He's done. Because he's just a jackass guy. And he's like, oh, I thought he had powers. He has a costume on. He attacked me. You saw. I tried not to.
Sorry, everybody.
I'm sorry, everybody.
Oh my God, he's
Spider-Man, you monster! How did you do that?
Well, they all saw what an asshole he
He's
was.
a TV star!
So then he leaps over to the limo. He pulls out the girl, and he has this iconic image of him rescuing the girl.
Right.
And the news like, holy shit! Did you get all that? And then everyone applauds for Spider-Man.
Yay.
And he's like, what are you doing? And they're like, what an amazing victory! And he's like, that wasn't a victory. 2 people died. This is not a victory.
Well, really, only one person died.
Yeah, well, somebody else died. The lady that Doc got killed, and all those other scientists and shit. But, anyway. So, Spider-Man is suddenly in the spotlight, and they're like, well, do you have anything to say? And he's like, no! Because you're just going to talk about, what a menace I am, and blame this whole thing on me anyway! And they're like, maybe if you talk to us, we would actually give you a fair shake.
Right.
And he's like, all right, what do you want to know? And they're
What's your real name?
Yeah, so they
Hey.
whoa, come on. And so they start asking him all these questions, and they're like, so where'd you come from? How'd you get your powers? And he's like, I got my powers from a faraway galaxy. And they're like, what?
lying.
And he's like, no. He's like, I got my powers like this friggin' idiot. It was an accident.
Yeah.
It's what happens. And so they're like, but why are you doing this? And he's like, because somebody smarter than any of us told me a long time ago that with great power comes great responsibility.
Oh.
And that's the first time you hear it. And they're like, right on.
And Aunt May goes, Peter?
She should, but she doesn't. She missed the whole press conference because she's looking for Peter. So Spider-Man goes on TV, gives away his fucking bumper sticker, and then leaves.
Okay.
And then he gets home, and he changes, and then he changes first, and he gets inside, and he gets to the house, and he opens the door, and Aunt May's there.
She's like, you have a lot of explaining to do, young
She's
man.
like, where were you? And he's like, I was at work. And she's like, I called work. And he's like, all right, you got me. I was actually at Mary Jane's house, and we were
We're making out.
And she's like, okay, I see. She's like, if you can't tell me the truth, then we have a real problem in this house.
Oh, boy.
Because who do you think I called first?
Oh.
And he's like, and she's like, if you can't be honest with me, then you are grounded for the rest of your life. And so Spider-Man is grounded after his greatest victory.
No! Just tell her!
I know.
You told Mary Jane!
Yeah, I know, but
Or,
she would not approve. And then later she will, but like he does tell her eventually. And it's really cool.
If you can't tell me the truth, alright, you're not gonna like this. I'm Spider-Man.
I'm Spider-Man.
What did I say? If you can't tell me the truth, you are grounded!
Stick to the wall.
Oh!
Die. But because she's like a gilf, like she's not gonna have a heart attack. Later she does have a heart attack, but it's because like her husband was killed, her nephew Spider-Man, like their house keeps getting attacked by stupid goblin creatures, like all within a span of like a year. So she does actually wind up having like heart problems. But like,
Also, please don't call her a gilf. I'd like the fact that they drew her younger finally.
yes, they finally figured out. They finally
They made her
settled
Uncle Ben's
on
age.
they finally settled on an age for Aunt May.
Okay.
So he's like, all right. So then he goes to his room, and then he turns on the TV, and the TV's like, Spider-Man's the best! And he's like, woohoo! I'll call that a win, I guess! And then S.H.I.E.L.D. arrests Dr. Octopus and puts him away.
Yay.
And while he's there, his brain starts to like realign, and he's remembering like how he got his arms, and he remembers the accident, and he remembers beating Peter Parker, and then he remembers Peter Parker getting bitten by the spider. And he's like, Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And you're like, oh no.
Oh dear.
And so Doc Ock becomes the secondary antagonist of Ultimate Spider-Man.
That's okay. He's just going to tell S.H.I.E.L.D. and then S.H.I.E.L.D. will just, recruit him or something.
S.H.I.E.L.D. already knows he's Spider-Man.
Ooh.
And that's a story for another time. We'll see you guys next time in another episode of Back Issues. Wow, we got through both of them!
Yay!
Yeah, we'll see how long that one was.
It was real tough. We
were right on the line there, but
I'm sure it's fine.
you know what? The next one will probably just be one. But yeah. But what'd you guys think? Right? It's
a cool story.
It's a cool story.
It's good, yeah.
Cool story, bro. Oh, you know what I forgot? There's this great moment. There's this great moment in the book where Peter's at school, and the teacher they're in English class, and the teacher's like, so for this, there's gonna be a big project for you guys, and you're all going to come up with your own superhero, and you're gonna have to design them, come up with a name and your powers, because that's the world we're living in.
Right.
And I want to see, because it's about, I think it's a current events class. She's like, you're all going to create your own superhero. And Liz Allen, who is like the girl that flirted with Peter in the first book, like she is sick of hearing about superheroes and Spider-Man. And she's like, can I ask you a question? We're in current events class. This isn't like, and she starts parroting like shit that like her parents have been saying. Mm-hmm. And she's like, yeah, like I thought we were in like a class to learn, but instead we're here to like play dress up and stuff. That's really like not appropriate for what we're supposed to be doing here. And she's like, and the teacher's like explaining like, well, no, like that's the world we're living in, and this is what I've deemed appropriate for the class. She's okay, because like I talked to my mom about this, and like she's talking to the superintendent about it too, and like we're gonna bring it up at the next school board meeting. So like I just want you to know that like that's what's happening. And I'm like, that is so fucking real.
Yeah. That is very real.
That is obnoxiously real.
And then the teacher's like, well, you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
And then you can get an F.
Well, but it's but like no. More like, well, I guess you'll just have to do an alternate assignment, or I'm going to be strong-armed into not doing this assignment. Mm-hmm. That's the real world. By the way, that whole thing, I don't even remember if it even happens. Like that whole subplot about the superhero thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not like Peter Parker designs Spider-Man and then explains how it works. Like,
and then people are like that. He already exists.
Yeah.
You can't
do that.
You failed.
It's like, well, but I am Spider-Man. Huh? Also, Gwen Stacy is like a subject of contention between him and Mary Jane.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, because he's like, this chick's cool.
Right.
Like, to be fair, she practically knifed a guy to defend me. And it's funny.
She doesn't even know who I am.
But Peter's like cool because he's like, Mary Jane's like, so Peter, like, what do you think of that Gwen girl? And he's like, I don't know. She seems kind of crazy, but she's also like kind of neat. Like, she's more interesting than most of the people we know. And so Mary Jane gets mad at him. He's like, are you mad? And she's like, no. I just have to leave right now for no reason. And then leaves. And, like, treats him like an asshole for the rest of the issue.
Jeez.
And you're just like, yep, that's real too. So, you know.
To be fair, that's Peter Parker's fault, because you should have said, no, I don't know who you're talking about.
You shouldn't have to lie.
Bitch.
Yeah, just, bitches be crazy, am I right, Mary Jane? Like, no. Because he's taking everything at face value. That's the thing, is that Peter Parker's like a pure soul who's just like, if I'm honest about everything except for being Spider-Man, then everything should be fine.
Would you like me to lie to you?
Is that what you want? You want us to You want us to build a relationship on a foundation of lies? I told you I was Spider-Man, for God's sake.
That's something a 15-year-old would say.
Yes. But him telling Mary Jane that he's Spider-Man has drastic repercussions for the rest of their lives.
Really?
Oh yeah, big time.
Makes sense.
Because we've now introduced Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane, and what's Gwen Stacy's most defining characteristic? She was thrown off a bridge and died. So we'll see that coming up in the next couple of issues. But anyway, thanks a lot for watching this episode of Backers, everybody. We'll see you guys next week. And I put a link in the description box below this video for a volume that collects probably the first 4 or 5. You can just get it all. That way you'll know what's happening before you even watch the episode. So, see you next week. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Ben.
Thanks for watching.